morning. Happy Monday. Hit the thumbs up. We're about to start a lunch money show with me and Pigskin Pete. Bet's sure to go wrong for week 5. Fade Pete and fade Lou. You're retired, buddy. All you have is time. It doesn't matter how long the intro is. That's literally all you have is time. Fuck his bingo. Yeah, good morning. It's Uncle Lou here. That's right. The rumors are true. It's me and Pigskin Pete live for you on LouTube. Welcome to the Lunch Money Show. What's up, Pete?
Yo, yo, yo. Happy Monday.
Yeah, how's everybody doing? I hope you got your week off to a great start. That would be ideal. Yeah, that'd be ideal. Welcome to the Lunch Money Show where me and Pete are going to give you several amazing ways to lose money this coming weekend. Gambling on college football. That's right. Pick sure to go wrong, courtesy of me and Pigskin Pete. We do have some great games coming up this week. Me and Pete each have a couple of games picked out that we really like, so we'll go over those games for you, give you some thoughts on those, and which direction are we going to go. Got to try to beat the bookie. I did beat the bookie last week. Joker had to send me $150 today. He was big mad about it, too. I told him I don't give a fuck how mad he is. Send me my money, dummy. And guess what? He did. He sent me the money, so that was good. That's the good news. Bad news is, Pete, we lost our lunch money sleeper pick last week. So
I know.
No luck there. But can't be greedy. I hit 2 sleeper picks the week before. Missed my sleeper pick this past weekend, which means we're due for another winner. So we will pull up the Sleeper app here in a little bit, about halfway through the show, I guess, and we'll get the comment section to help us out and see if we can't find 3 or 4 winners on there. Maybe we go for the fences today. Go for 4 this week. Get greedy. You want to get greedy?
Yeah, I like greed.
Yeah, let's get greedy. We'll each pick one. We'll let the comments section pick a couple of picks over there on the Sleeper app. Sleeper has been kind enough to sponsor the Lunch Money show for me and Pigskin Pete this season. So make sure you are helping to support the companies that are helping to support us. Download the Sleeper app today. You'll be glad you did. It's a great way to add some excitement to your college football Saturday. You don't have to worry about picking winners or losers on the games. You're literally picking players less or more on certain stat lines. So you got a quarterback you like this weekend, you can take over the number on his passing yards. You got a quarterback you hate, you can take less than. It's literally that simple. Use the promo code LOU, L-O-U, and they will give you a 100% bonus on your first deposit, dollar for dollar, up to $100. So you deposit $100, they give you another 100. You deposit 50, they give you another 50. Courtesy of Uncle Lou and Pigskin Pete, so you can lose some of our money too, which would be amazing. You can win up to 1,000 times your money stacking these picks over on Sleeper. Download the Sleeper app today. It's legal in Georgia, where Uncle Lou lives. It's legal in South Kakalaki, where Pigskin Pete lives, and it's legal in over 30 other states. Have yourself some fun with college football this weekend. Download the Sleeper app today. All right, that's it for the commercials. What's next, Pete? What do we need to do? What are we doing? What is this?
Or you can use the Sleeper app for the NFL. Like I don't have any luck doing college football, so I've resorted to NFL sleeper picks, and I've yet to win, but I've taken a couple of brutal losses. When I say brutal, I missed one sleeper pick yesterday. It was a 3-pick deal, won by half of a rushing yard.
Oh wow!
Well, yeah, and I just missed this one. I did another one after that, and it was Harrison Butker, the kicker for the Chiefs, to have over 1.5 field goals. He kicked like 3, so I got that. It was Derrick Henry to have an anytime touchdown. He got that in the first quarter of this game that's going on right now. And Graham Gano, the kicker for the Giants, to have more than 1 field goal. And he made 1 field goal and missed 1 field goal. I missed one by 1 field goal and one by a half a yard rushing. So I'm down bad.
Wow. I have an amazing win story that normally I'm on the other side of. Normally this is an amazing loss story, but I actually have an amazing win story. So I bet a bunch of college football games on Saturday because I'm a huge degenerate. Because I bet a bunch of games, I don't generally bet that much money on the games. I might bet $25 on a game if I really like a game or I'm up for the week or something. Maybe I might bet 50. But I was feeling extra froggy on Saturday, and I bet $75 on Oklahoma -6.5. Now I know a lot of you watched that game. Oklahoma was up by 5 late in that game, and it looked like that was going to be it. They were going to win by 5. Auburn had the ball, and time was running out. Well, Auburn got backed up inside their own 5-yard line, and Oklahoma was able to get a safety on Jackson Arnold, which, of course, is worth 2 points. Took the lead from 5 points to 7 points, and instead of losing that $75, Uncle Lou made himself some money. So I was finally on the right side of what was, for a lot of people, a horrendous beat. A really bad. I mean, if you had Auburn plus 6.5, and believe me, I've been on that side of those types of things before. It's absolutely horrendous when something like that happens. There was another game in college football this weekend that I didn't bet on, and I can't even remember which game it was now. But the underdog scored late to cover, and then tried an onside kick. The other team fielded the onside kick and returned it for a touchdown as time expired. So I mean, just brutal endings. I didn't have anything on that game, but I think is it Scott Van Pelt? Somebody, one of the late night editions of Sports Center has a bad beat segment. Do you ever see that, Pete?
Yeah, I think it's him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some of the now a lot of times it's on these like low level games that I typically only bet on high level games that I'm going to watch on TV. That's what's fun to me. And a lot of times these bad beats are occurring in some of these lower level games that I don't have any money bet on. But it's unbelievable the types of weird shit that can happen literally in the last 10 seconds of a game that can take you from a winner to a loser on a bet. It will drive you. If you've gambled on sports for any significant amount of time, a couple of years or more, you probably have some similar stories, of just something happened at the very end that screwed you. And hopefully in the long run, it kind of evens out and you get a couple of winners that way too. And I got one this past weekend with Oklahoma and that safety. I couldn't believe it.
I benefited from that one too. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, safety at the end. I thought we were going to lose that one.
Let's run through these super chats, and then we'll take a look at the schedule of games. And me and Pete will pick out a couple of the games we really like this weekend. We'll discuss them. Harlan Harris, thank you for the super chat. He says, "I know it's next weekend. Florida State versus Miami already out at Miami -7.5. Am I crazy to jump on my Noles now while I get +7.5? Go Lou and LV. Go BJ Gagway." I haven't even started to think about that game because, like you said, it's not this weekend. It's next weekend. Miami is off this weekend, so there's probably nothing going to happen to affect your opinion there unless it's a practice injury. But Florida State plays at Virginia Friday. Upset alert. So I won't be betting or thinking about that game. Pete, do you have any thoughts on that? Florida State versus Miami? He says Miami is listed already at -7.5.
I'd probably take the underdog if it's 7.5 points. So I guess I'd take Florida State.
Yeah, my initial gut reaction is that's too many points either way. I would probably just like Pete said, I'd take a free touchdown either way. But I'm not. I don't have any thoughts on that yet. FS5SU says no way, Lou. No way. What?
I think he's saying to take Florida State.
Oh, yeah. All right, that's what I said. Yeah, so I don't know why he's saying no way. The Norwegian Method says okie dokie. Yeah, shout out to Tennessee. They have to play on the road at Mississippi State this weekend. They can sling the ball around. Lou already wants FSU to lose. Is he? See, this is what I mean with Florida State fans. Is he retarded? Me and you both just picked Florida State in that bet that the guy asked about. Did we not?
Yeah, he had it in his mind before we even said anything that you were going to pick against Florida State.
We both took Florida State, and this dumbass is in the comment section with the Lou already wants FSU to lose. We literally both said if we had to pick right now, we'd take Florida State. You're literally fucking retarded.
The upset alert he was talking about was the Friday night game with Virginia and Florida State.
Yeah, I say that about every Friday night game where a ranked team is playing on the road. It doesn't matter who the team is. Jesus Christ, man.
Well, he's definitely not going to like one of my picks tonight then.
Going 2-10 has turned Florida State into the biggest fucking babies on the internet. They are not, unless you tell them that Florida State's the greatest thing you've ever seen and they're going 1,000,000-0, they want more from you. Tell us how good we are. Fuck Florida State and fuck you. Jesus Christ, y'all are fucking annoying. Holy shit. God damn. Dude. Let it go. You beat Bama 3 weeks ago. That's amazing. I mean, that's a great win. You should be bragging about that still. No one gives a fuck about East Texas A&M or Kent State or whatever else you beating 80-0. And in every fucking comment section on the planet demanding that people tell you how good Florida State is. Fuck Florida State. Fuck White Tonto. Fuck Mike Norvell. He's a garbage fucking coach. He's had 3 losing seasons in 5 years. He hadn't won a fucking thing. And he's never gonna. I mean, is that what, I mean, so suck on that for a while. Garrett Roberts says, I swear Pete and Lou are brothers from another mother. Fuck Bama. Go Dogs. Pete, I'm sorry your program is dog shit. Damn, he went straight to the program, not even the team. He said the program is dog shit.
Well, I appreciate the sentiment, and I can't argue with that. So there you go.
They're in a bad way.
They're in a bad way.
Jolish, thank you for the super chat. He says, since this is the betting show, 100 on UGA, and either I make money or pay for a dog L. To hell with Georgia. Yeah, he's a Georgia Tech fan, that Jolish. So they're high on the hog there in Tech Town. Biggs Mike says, tell me more about this thing you call gambling. Mike, you know all about the gambling, buddy. You're a total degenerate, my man. Yeah, you're a total degenerate.
Speaking of gambling, I am tied with the coin after 1 week.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah. The coin got 2 out of 3 right, and I got 2 out of 3 right.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good.
So the coin right now is batting 75 What is that? 66%.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
James Cooper, thank you for the super chat. He says, Lou and Pete, am I wrong to be skeptical of Bryce Underwear? I understand the receivers have dropped passes, but you can't throw every pass 100 miles an hour. I've seen other freshmen, Jacob Eason. I mean, this was a million years ago now, but he started at Georgia as a true freshman back in 2016. And I remember during that season there being complaints and talking all season long about how all he can do is throw the ball 100 miles an hour. So I don't know if that's something like putting touch on the ball is something they sort of got to learn over time. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been impressed at all with Bryce Underwood, period. None at all. At all. He wasn't any better this past weekend at Nebraska than he was 3 weeks ago at Oklahoma. He looks terrible, but he's a freshman. I'm not saying he won't ever be good, but as far as what I've seen so far, he's terrible. He had 100 rushing yards against a high school 2 weeks ago. You know, I don't give a shit about that. What do you do in games that matter? And he's been terrible. So, but again, that doesn't mean he doesn't have a lot of talent and can't get better. But he hasn't done anything to impress me this season. Nothing at all. Zero. So that's my thoughts on that. Let's see who's here. Spank Mapleton is here. That's great news. Slim Shady Canes, thank you for the super chat. A blackjack dealer from the Seminole Casino is more injured than Davy Crockett on that damn horse. Type about it. Yeah, it's not even a horse. It's a show pony. I mean, it just keeps getting worse. Flaming toothpick. Got this white frat kid painted up like an Indian. It's pitiful. It's pitiful. There really isn't one QB who's dominating so far. Well, the problem with quarterbacks this year has been that all of the quarterbacks that were kind of good last year, so people assumed they were going to be the high end quarterbacks this year. A lot of them are not any good. DJ Lagway, Arch Manning, Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier. Those were like the four quarterbacks that people were talking about heading into the season, and they're all dog shit. So that's the problem. And then G5 Joey looks like fucking Peyton Manning. It's weird. It's really weird. And Ole Miss, I can't get over this shit with Ole Miss. Do you know about this, Pete?
With Simmons?
Well, he got hurt 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So they put a guy in named Trinidad
Chambliss.
And he played pretty good when Austin Simmons got hurt 2 weeks ago. And I was like, okay. And then he came out this past weekend and had like 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. He had 300 passing, over 100 rushing, 4 touchdowns against Tulane, which is a decent team. And I'm like, okay, who the fuck is this guy? Because I don't pay attention to recruiting. So I'm like, he must be some 3-star or low 4-star that Ole Miss got, and I just don't pay attention to recruiting. So I looked him up. No, he's a senior. And he spent his entire college career at a Division II school called Ferris State. And Lane Kiffin goes out and gets him in the portal this offseason. And the guy is a fucking Heisman candidate. The guy is unbelievable. He's a human highlight reel. I don't know how Lane Kiffin does. Lane Kiffin is like the portal whisperer.
Yeah, he is.
Unbelievable with quarterbacks. And even Austin Simmons. I remember last year Georgia played out there. Of course, got their ass beat. But what's his name? Jackson Dart got hurt in the first quarter of that game. Now, he was able to come back in, but he missed a whole drive. And they put this guy in, Austin Simmons, who at the time I'd never heard of. We all know him now because he was the starter this year. They dig him up off the bench, dust him off, send him in the game, right down the field and scores a fucking touchdown, like a fifth-year veteran senior with 40 starts. I'm like, what in the world? There's so many teams. You look around at all these teams that have no quarterbacks, and Lane Kiffin's got 2 and 3 NFL quarterbacks on the bench that he found at D3 schools. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? It's unreal to me.
Look what Baylor man said. Ferris State is one of the best Division II teams.
Hey, who gives a fuck? Ferris State.
Did you hear what Lane Kiffin said today, though, about the quarterback situation? He said if Austin Simmons is healthy, then he's the starter, starting this weekend.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I whatever Lane Kiffin tells me about quarterbacks, I blindly believe it. Because Austin Simmons was playing good too before he got hurt, but this guy has been unbelievable. This Trinidad and Tobago. He's unreal.
Tobago.
I'm telling you, I've said it before. If Florida does not back a Brinks truck up to Lane Kiffin's house, I don't know what they're doing. You have to make Lane Kiffin say no if you're Florida, and you probably need to make him say no 2 or 3 times. I don't know what they're thinking at Florida if they don't fire Napier and call Lane Kiffin 30 seconds later. They're even more retarded than I thought they were if they don't do whatever they need to do to try to. Now I don't even know if Lane Kiffin will take the job, but you got to make him say no. He would be an absolute problem at Florida. He'd be able to recruit and do the portal. At Ole Miss, he can only do the portal deal. You're never going to have top 10 recruiting classes and stack them up at Ole Miss. You're just never going to do that. Florida could do that if they had somebody that could win and knew what they were doing. And that man's name is Lane Kiffin. And I don't want Florida to get Lane Kiffin because I think it would be a big fucking problem, not just for the SEC, but for all of college football. So I don't want that to happen. But if they, anyway, they won't even fire Billy Napier. So I don't know why we're talking about that. They're obviously retarded. Yeah. I don't know how he still has a job. That's a great question. I have no idea. All right, Pete, you're up first today. What do you like this week? Let's try to make. Yeah,
where's the FSU guy that was in here? He's not going to like this pick. It's Virginia +7 versus Florida State on Friday night. So you're probably thinking, why would you pick Virginia, Pete? Virginia's terrible. Florida State's one of the best teams in the country after 4 weeks. I'm taking the home dog on Friday night. That's why. If you look at the history of the ACC, I know you know this, Lou. Being the road favorite on Friday night usually doesn't go well for the road favorite. And Virginia actually, I know they lost the only really good team they played, and they beat up on a bunch of nobodies, but they're averaging 46 points a game. Their quarterback's got over 1,300 yards passing through 4 weeks, so he's on pace to get close to 4,000 yards. And Virginia's got a good offense. Now defensively, they're not great, so this might be kind of a shootout. But I'm taking Virginia at home with the points on Friday night.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, I just blindly do this. It doesn't hit every time, but it hits more times than not. And also, this is a huge look-ahead spot for Florida State, too, with the Miami game coming up the following weekend.
That's right, yeah.
So do I think Florida State will win the game? Yeah. Will I take the home team getting 7 points on a weird Friday night? Yes, I will. So I'll also take Virginia in the 7. I like that one, too. I'll be streaming again Friday night, too, by the way. I think this was the case last year too, but they've been doing pretty good with some of these Friday night games. I like having one or two interesting games on a Friday night. It's I don't know. It seems like this is relatively new over the last several years, but because it used to be just kind of dog shit games, but there's some watchable games now on Friday nights. So I'll be live streaming. TCU and Arizona State play too at 9. And that's a big game in the Big 12. Arizona State already has a non-con loss, so they got to win the Big 12. And you don't want to start in a hole if you're Arizona State, so they got to try to find. They're at home too. TCU is an underdog at Arizona State, 2.5. But that's not one of the picks I want to talk about today. But I'll be on Friday night if y'all want to hang out and watch those games. The first game that I want to talk about is, more with the underdogs. Ohio State at Washington, 3:30, CBS, Paramount Plus. Washington is getting 9.5 or 10 points even, depending on where you look. I would look around because 10 is obviously better to get than 9.5. ESPN's got it at 9.5. I like Washington to cover to 10. Washington was a flop last year, but they were in a bad way. They lost their entire coaching staff, 11 of 22 starters from that previous year's team that made the playoffs. Plus, they were transitioning to the Big Ten. Didn't surprise me that they were bad last year, but they've looked a lot better this year. That can be a difficult place to play. It's not an environment that Ohio State is familiar with because Washington's new to the Big Ten. And kind of like with the Florida State game, I do think Ohio State probably finds a way to win that game, but this is a tricky one here for Ohio State. I like Washington +10 at home Saturday afternoon against the Bucknuts.
Somebody just typed in the chat, I think, let me see if I can find it, that Washington hasn't lost a home game since 2021. Is that right?
Did they win all their home games last year? Because they weren't a good team.
I'm trying to find the comment now. I can't find it. Anyway, I agree with you. I'll take the 10 points all day long. If it were less than a touchdown, I probably wouldn't. But at 10, I love that. I probably actually will bet that.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Now I'm going to go with a favorite here, also at the 3:30 time slot. This one in the SEC on ABC, and I think Ole Miss wins. I don't think it's going to be close. I am not buying LSU. They have been disappointing to me. I don't know what's going on with their offense. I know they scored 1 million points this past weekend. It's funny now. All of a sudden, Nussmeier's not hurt anymore. He's fine now. When he was shitty, he was hurt. Now all of a sudden they're trying. But anyway, I don't believe he was ever hurt. I just think the offense isn't that good for whatever reason. Now they do have a good defense. I don't think Ole Miss is scoring 50 points here, but at home, I like Lane Kiffin over Brian Kelly in this spot. I think Ole Miss gets the win. They're a 1.5 point favorite, so basically an even matchup here because you get a couple of points for home field. But I think Ole Miss could win this game by 10 points, 2 touchdowns. I've been really impressed with Ole Miss.
So that was one of my picks as well. So I'm going to move on to another one. I agree with you. I got Ole Miss minus 2.5 against LSU. I'll move on here to Mississippi State plus 7.5 against Tennessee. This game is in Starkville, isn't it?
Yep.
All right, games in Stark. Well, if it were, I like that 0.5. I guess the site I looked on had him at 7.5. Somebody said earlier that it was minus 7. I don't know what you're looking at, but anyway, if it's anything 7 or over, I'm taking Mississippi State. They can throw the ball around, and that's Tennessee's weakness is their pass defense. So I don't even know what the over/under is on this one. When I looked, it wasn't even posted yet, but I'd probably take the over in this game. But I'm definitely taking Mississippi State in the points.
Yeah, I've got the over at 61.5. I like the over, too. I think Mississippi State's going to throw it all over Tennessee. Their pass defense has been bad all year. They're playing 2 backup corners in the secondary. Now, they've played all season, so they've got now 4 games of experience, but they are technically the backups. And Tennessee struggles on the road under Josh Heupel. I mean, that's not trash talk. That's just reality. I mean, they lost last year to Arkansas. They lose at Florida every time they play there. They lose at Bama every time they play there. They lose at Georgia every time they play there. They struggle on the road. They did have a win at Oklahoma last year, and that was pretty good. But I still don't fully trust Tennessee on the road. This will be G5 Joey's first road game at Tennessee. Now, he's got years of experience at lower-level schools, but this will be the most hostile environment he's ever played in with the Cowbells at Mississippi State. Yeah, I like Mississippi State, anything a touchdown or over, to keep it close. And I also like the over. Also like the over in that one.
Who's got a better win so far, Mississippi State or Tennessee?
Well, Mississippi State.
Yeah.
They beat Arizona State at home. Tennessee's best win is Syracuse.
Right.
Which looks a little bit better now, courtesy of Clemson. But we don't need to get into that because that's yesterday's news.
We'll talk about it in a minute.
We don't need to dredge that up. While we're talking about the Mississippi State game, though, let's look on the Sleeper app because this is one of the games I wanted to make a play on. And I'm going to go ahead and add it, and we can add some more throughout the course of the show. But this is the Sleeper app here. A lot of you have seen it, but if you're new to it, this is sort of the setup. It's just got players and then stat lines. So click college football at the top here. And then I'm going to search for my man, Blake Shapen, the quarterback of Mississippi State. There he is. And it'll bring up, oh, shit, it's not on here. Well, I guess we'll have to wait till tomorrow to put a pick in on Blake Shapen. Well, that's terrible news.
Yeah, they've got a couple things up, but not a lot.
That's terrible news. All right, well, we'll come back to that. Then maybe one of the other games or one of the other plays I wanted to make will be. I'll scroll through the list and see who's on here. I see a couple of people on here we might be interested in playing, but for whatever reason, there ain't very many on here yet. Last week they were all on here by the time we did the Lunch Money show, but this week they're running behind.
Yeah, I see one I like on there, but that
Yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to find enough to make a play on there today. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, what's the next one?
All right. Since we both picked the Ole Miss one, I'll move on to I had an alternate in case that happened. Duke. Hey, go Duke. They beat NC State last week. That was one of my picks. I picked Duke. That was one of the 3 picks on this show. I had Duke minus 3, and everyone's like, well, Pete, you're crazy. Duke's terrible, and NC State's undefeated. Well, I won that bet. And they got to travel to Syracuse, and they're a 5.5 point favorite. You're like, well, Syracuse just beat Clemson. Yeah, well, Clemson sucks. And also, Syracuse lost their quarterback for the entire season. He tore his Achilles. So I don't know much about the backup quarterback, but I know he's not Angeli. That's for sure. That's why he's the backup and not starting. So I think this is a huge blow to Syracuse. Also, I think Syracuse, after a very emotional road win at Clemson, might be a little bit of a letdown this week. And Duke's playing decent football. So give me Duke on the road -5.5.
Yeah, I don't really have an opinion on this one. Losing Peanut Butter and Jelly is a big blow for Syracuse. He was a lot of what they did offensively in that Clemson game and just up to this point in the season. He actually played pretty well against Tennessee early in the year too, in a loss. So that's not one I've even thought about. So I don't really have I don't really have much to say on that one, but I don't know if I could take Duke though. I don't know.
You didn't want to take him last week either.
I know, but so that's probably just a stay away. That's probably just a stay away game. A stay away game for me. But this one is not a stay away game. Auburn on the road at Texas A&M. Back-to-back road games for the Barn against two top 10 teams. At Oklahoma last week, they were able to keep it close. The Barner wants to, making the argument they should have won the game. The referees blew it. They're right. It was a terrible call, terrible blown call by the referees there. Inexcusable that something like that could happen in a game of that magnitude. But it did. It's water under the bridge now, and all that matters is Auburn has a loss. But I'm still not sold on Jackson Arnold's ability to play the position of quarterback. He can run around, and he makes some things happen, and that's great. But closing your eyes and throwing the ball 40 yards downfield to Cam Coleman and hoping he makes the catch is not really a game plan. It's more of a desperation deal. The way I look at it, I'm just not impressed with Auburn. I like Texas A&M at home, just under a touchdown, 6.5. Give me the Aggies -6.5 in that one. They've got that big win on the road at Notre Dame. They were off this past week, I believe, so rested up and ready to go. I'll take Texas A&M at home. Hard to play back-to-back road games. Two difficult environments here for Auburn. Rough situation for the Barn with the referees last week, but I like Texas A&M this week.
I think that game will be fairly high scoring, so I'm going to, instead of taking the spread, I'm going to take the over 52.5. I think this goes into the 60s range, and Texas A&M wins at home.
Harlan Harris says, sorry for my FSU brothers. Every fan base has them. However, Miami takes the cake for worst fan base. Y'all UVA cover is going to lose. Fade Pete and Lou. Yeah, you should always fade us. I mean, that goes without saying. Yeah, Aguilar does the same. What, closes his eyes and throws the ball up in the air? I don't know. I don't see him as that type of I don't see him as that type of QB, to be honest. I think he's better than Jackson Arnold. Could be because he's better coached, but I've been more impressed with Joey Aguilar this season than I have Jackson Arnold. All right, let's see what else jumps out on here. Utah, West Virginia, no.
How about Oregon and Penn State? We haven't talked about that.
I'm going to take Penn State. I mean, Penn State was my preseason pick to win the Natty. Their offense has been concerning. I'm not going to lie. They've played absolutely nobody to this point in the season. 3 lower classification schools. That's it. And then off this past week, Oregon has blown out everybody they played. They're scoring 50, 60 points. They have played Oklahoma State, which is technically a Power 4 program for reasons unknown. But because Penn State was my preseason pick to win the Natty, and I picked them in the preseason to win this game, and they are still undefeated, and I do think this is a must-win game for Penn State for perception reasons. If they drop this game, then there's just no fighting against the whole they're overrated, they can't beat anybody good, blah, the same old, it is what it is. So I'm going to ride with Penn State. Now, they're a 3.5-point favorite. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I would buy it down to 3 or play it on the money line. But I like Penn State to win the game.
I'm taking Oregon plus 3.5. I know they beat up on a bunch of bad teams. They're scoring 1 million points. It's like you mentioned about Penn State. Their offense has left a lot to be desired. I'm going to take the team that can score more points here. Obviously, it's going to be a tougher environment. It's going to be on the road, white out, the whole deal. The crowd's going to be going nuts. It's going to be loud there. And also, James Franklin's record against top 10 teams is not very good. No, actually, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So I'll take the underdog over 3 points. I'll take Oregon all day.
Might as well talk a little about the Georgia-Alabama game, too. Of course, I never bet against Georgia, but Bama's my pick to win the game. Picked them in the preseason to win. Georgia can't beat them. It's a mental hurdle. It's a mental block. If you're looking for a reason to take Georgia, well, Kalen DeBoer's 1-5, I think, in his last 6 road games. Lost at Vandy, beat LSU, lost at Oklahoma, lost at Tennessee, lost to Michigan in a neutral site, lost to Florida State. So they have not been good on the road. They haven't been tested at all this season outside of their loss to Florida State, where they kind of got bitch slapped and manhandled. And honestly, I think kind of caught by surprise, like the rest of us were, that Florida State was actually any good. Ty Simpson's been lighting it up, though. They've got 2 receivers that can be a massive problem for Georgia. Georgia showed some secondary issues, to say the least, in that game on the road at Tennessee. So I think there are reasons to go either way. If you look, Georgia hasn't lost a home game since 2019, longest ever home winning streak in the SEC, currently at 32 games. I think all of the pressure in this game, surprisingly, is on Bama. I do think there's the can Kirby beat Bama pressure. But in terms of what happens the rest of this season, the pressure is on Bama here. If they lose this game, their season is basically over, because I don't think they'll run the table the rest of the way. If Georgia loses this game, that's 1 loss. It would be a tough one at home against the one team that you just can't seem to get over the hump. But they would still have all their goals in front of them. So it feels like Alabama will be in desperation mode here. They get Jam Miller back at running back, which should help some, I guess. But I mean, it's hard to pick Georgia against Bama. Even if you think Georgia's the better team, I think it's hard to pick Georgia against Bama, because we've seen Georgia be the better team last year, for example, and still lose. I mean, it was 28-0 before I knew what was going on in that game last year. So, I'm picking Bama to win. I don't ever bet against Georgia, so I'm not taking Bama plus 2.5. But I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. It'll be the most happy I've ever been to be wrong. But I picked Bama last year in this game for the same reason, and I'm picking Bama again in this one. I think they'll win the game in Athens.
Well, I put a self-imposed ban on betting on the Georgia-Alabama game, because the last 2 times they've played, I've bet on Georgia, and I've lost both those bets. So even if I think Georgia should win the game at home, and I think they're a better team, I'm still not going to. Just like you said, I'm still not going to bet on them. I'm staying away from this game altogether.
Tenor Horn, thank you for the super chat. He says, I want to say Georgia will win as an alum, but I see Georgia give the game away a lot. Yeah, I mean, we were all hoping it was a Nick Saban thing. Well, Nick Saban's gone, and it turns out Kirby can't beat Kalen DeBoer either. So, I mean, but again, if you want to, there's lots of reasons to pick Georgia. I just went over all of them. They got beat by the only decent team they've played all year, and they got physically outmatched in that game. Georgia hasn't lost at home in forever. Georgia's ranked higher. They're a favorite for a reason. Like, there's plenty of reasons to pick Georgia. Georgia's been tested and came out on top on the road at Tennessee, so they're battle tested too. There's reasons to go with Georgia, but I just can't pull it. I can't do it. I can't do it. So, I hope I'm wrong, but my pick on that game is Bama.
Somebody in the chat keeps typing that they feel sorry for me. Don't feel sorry for me. If you want thoughts and prayers, send those to Dabo Sweeney and Hufferbilly Paul. They're down way more bad than I am.
Oh yeah, Slaw's in a real bad way.
Yeah.
He's in a real bad way. All right, let's see what else we got on here that might be interesting. You like any other games?
Let's see here. Those are the only ones I wrote down. Let me look at my thing here, and I'll tell you.
Cincinnati at Kansas. Kansas favored by 5.5. I would lean Kansas in that one. But I'm a Jalen Daniels fanboy, or whatever his name is, quarterback at Kansas.
Yeah, I see one here I like in the ACC. I like a lot of these ACC games, actually. Georgia Tech at Wake Forest. Georgia Tech, 14-point favorite. Sounds like a lot, but Wake Forest isn't very good.
Yeah.
I think Haynes King's going to have a field day against that Wake Forest defense. So they'll probably win by 30, something like that.
Notre Dame at Arkansas is an interesting game. Notre Dame literally back against the wall after dropping their first 2 games of the season. They finally got off to snide with a win against, was it Purdue they played this past weekend? I think so. And Arkansas has lost a couple of games in a row where they have racked up 500 yards of offense in each of those 2 games and still found a way to lose. And when you look at Notre Dame, their issues are on the defensive side of the ball. So there could be a lot of points scored in that game. And it is at Arkansas. Notre Dame's favored by 4.5. Does anybody think Arkansas can pull off the upset there? I might take
they might
Arkansas.
be able to.
Yeah,
they could definitely cover the 5.5.
Yeah, I like Arkansas plus the 5.5 in that one.
Yeah, me too. I was about to say over 64.5. That's a lot of points, but it's like you said, Arkansas could score. I don't know. I'll stay away from you. I like the plus 5.5.
I don't know what Joel is talking about when he says everything says pick UJ, but then I realized Tennessee had them beat, and Bama is better than Tennessee. I don't know. I don't even know what had them beat means. They lost the game. So I ain't real sure what that means there. Never bet Georgia Tech as a favorite, says Rec Talk. So, yeah.
Well, he is a nerd. He should know.
A lot of nerds around this season. It's
No.
I don't know why that is. It's weird. It's really weird, too.
Let's see here.
Let me pull up the sleeper app and see what is on there. I hate
I'm looking at it right now.
I hate that they don't put all the games on there on Monday. I guess we'll have to wait till tomorrow to see the majority of the sleeper app picks. They do have Nick Singleton on here. Rushing yards over under 52.5. Now, I love Nick Singleton. He's the running back for Penn State. He's really good, but they split carries up there between him and Keyshawn Allen. And you never really know which one's going to have the hot hand in a given day. And Oregon does have a good defense, but boy, that seems low. I'm tempted to go more than 52 rushing yards for Nick Singleton, the running back at Penn State. They've got Ty Simpson.
I see one I really like here. Moore, the quarterback for Oregon. Over or under 217.5 passing yards. I'd take the over on that. You see that one?
I see it. All right. Over 217 passing yards. All right. I got that one added. All right. Well, then I'm going to take Dual or 1.5 passing touchdown. Even though I think Penn State's going to win, I can't do that. What a disappointment. Such a disappointment. Ty Simpson, more or less than 1.5 passing touchdowns. I'm going to go more. Georgia secondary, questionable. I'll go more. That's 2 picks. Does the chat see anything on here they like? Let's see, passing yards. Who else is on? Yeah, there's just nobody on here.
Let's see. If you go to receiving yards, what's going on there?
There's just not even enough players on here to mean.
Yeah.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I think there's only 12 players on there total. So you really need to wait till tomorrow. You really need to wait till tomorrow till the rest of the players are on there.
No, they don't have any. Arch Manning's not on there. It's like he just said, they've only got about 12 players total on there right now. I'm assuming by tomorrow afternoon they should probably be full.
Yeah, they release all the numbers usually on Monday. Last week on the Lunch Money Show, every player was on here.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, they haven't updated for this weekend's games yet over on the Sleeper app. So we're gonna have to wait till tomorrow, I guess. So call-in show tomorrow night. I'll pull it up again tomorrow night on the call-in show and see if we can make a pick there. But just not enough players on there right now to try to find any type of an angle. Take Bo Jackson to score a touchdown. He's not on there.
Also, they don't put every player on there either. So, I mean, I mean, there's a friggin' million players in college football, so they not every player is on there every week either.
Yeah.
You know, if like especially if you're playing a high school team, like they're not going to put, you know, if George is playing against whatever Austin P, they're not going to put Gunnar Stockton over and under 5 touchdowns or whatever. So it depends on who you're playing and all that.
Austin says, I'm gifting 2 1-month Patreon memberships. Click link to claim. Yeah. All right. Well, if anybody wants to join the Patreon for free, courtesy of Austin, first 2 people to click that link get a free month on Patreon. And it's a great time to have a free month on Patreon because I'm giving away $1,000 on October 11th.
Oh no! Heyo!
Yeah.
Wow. To who? Or I mean, for what? Like, what's the how do you win it?
I haven't decided that yet. We usually do trivia on there when I give money away, but for this amount of money, the problem with doing trivia is different people have different internet connections, and so some people are at a disadvantage there. If they hear me 5 seconds later than someone else hears me, you know, then they can answer the question sooner. So I'm thinking about doing something like what I do with the rigged wheel, where I just add everybody's name, basically make it like a raffle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, you can just a random pick. Don't you do the random picker for other stuff?
Yeah, I do it on the Saturday morning show. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it works fine. So, I don't know. I got a couple of weeks to figure it out, and then I'm letting the Patreon people decide if they want 1 winner to win $1,000 or 2 winners to win 500 or 4 to win 250. There's a poll over on the Patreon. All of y'all who are on Patreon, make sure y'all go vote in that poll. But so yeah, the giveaway will be October 11th during the Patreon stream on October 11th. So if you got a wedding to go to, or if somebody dies on October 10th, I'm sorry, but I'm giving the money away on October 11th. So there's too many people on my Patreon page for somebody to email me and say I can't be there on the 11th. Can you do the giveaway on the 18th? The giveaway's on the 11th. So I'm giving everybody 2 weeks notice on that.
Yeah, so make sure nobody dies on the 10th.
Yeah. That'll be ideal. Who ends up with more wins, Clemson or Florida? I'd vote Clemson. Yeah, Clemson. I mean, the schedule alone is reason enough to vote Clemson, regardless of who you think's better between Clemson and Florida. That's a pretty obvious. You take Clemson there. More wins than Florida, I think. Florida might not win another game. I mean, they play Texas, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Georgia, Texas A&M, Florida State at the end of the year, Kentucky. I mean, they might not win another game. They probably will, just because it's hard to lose 11 games in a row, which is what they would have to do. But they'll be underdogs in almost every game they play the rest of the year.
Well, Florida, this guy says it would be funny if Florida did beat Clemson. You don't be sorry. First of all, I mean, well, they're not going to play, so it's hypothetical. They're not going to play in the regular season, and one of the two or both of them might even make a bowl game. So they won't even do that. So,
what do you think? Do you think Dabo will sign 15 players out of the portal next year, or 10 or 15? I'm not saying Colorado and sign 60. Do you think he'll?
I think the only way that happens is if he has a mass, people transferring out, which is possible based on what's going on this year. And plus, they're losing a lot of the NFL. So if you're losing a lot of the NFL, plus you have a big group of guys transfer out, then you're going to have. I mean, he won't have a choice because he's not going to sign that enough in recruiting class to make up for all that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he'll probably do it if he has to, just to fill the roster. But otherwise, I don't think. I mean, I think his max on any given year is probably around 4 or 5. He signed 4 this year.
Yeah.
In the portal, so 4 or 5, I think it's probably what he's going to average unless there's an off year, like I say, where a lot of people are leaving.
At least one of them I know plays a lot too, if not his starter. The defensive guy, what's his name?
You talking about the transfer?
Yeah.
Oh, Will Helt from Purdue.
Yeah. He starts.
Yeah, he's the best
he?
player. Yeah, he's the best player on the defense.
That's unbelievable too, by the way, because you got about 3 first-rounders over there.
Well, he's played the best. I don't know if best player is the right word. Him and Sammy Brown, who is a Clemson recruit, or have played the best on defense by far. And the two that are the projected first-round picks, T.J. Parker and Peter Woods, you haven't heard their name all year.
Well, Peter Woods is a fullback now.
he does the full. He does that with all the big defensive tackles. He's done it for years. Yeah. But yeah. But they're losing a lot. This is a very veteran team, so there's a lot of guys that they're either moving, they're out of eligibility, or they're moving on to the NFL. So they're gonna have a lot of roster spots to fill. So he's gonna have to go somewhere and do something. I hope, and well, I think a good thing is for Clemson's sake is that we have a bunch of seniors on this offensive line that aren't any good. So they're going to be gone. Maybe they can replace some of those terrible offensive linemen with some guys out of the portal.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons. I know that's one of the reasons for me in particular why I was high on Clemson this year. Because I've had a negative outlook on Clemson for 2 or 3 years. But this year, I thought they were going to be really good because they had so much production coming back from last year's team. And I bought into the Cade Klubnik thing after being really down on Cade Klubnik the offseason before that. But, I mean, he had what were his stats in 24? It was 3,800 yards, 38 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions or something like that. I mean,
3,800 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. You were close, yeah.
I mean, he had a great year last year.
Yeah.
And then you had everybody coming back in the front 7 on defense, and I was like, okay, they might be able to put it together this year. But then now for next year they're losing all that. So I mean,
yeah,
I don't like to pile on you, but next year looks worse.
Yeah, well, I don't know unless he goes into portal and gets some good players like he did this year that actually do something.
Yeah.
Which again he might be forced to do either from internally or just by the numbers.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's my hope.
You're right about people transferring out too, and that's the one thing. That hasn't happened at Clemson like it happens almost everywhere else now. Everybody talks about getting transfers. No one talks about losing transfers. But Clemson really hasn't had that problem. He's been able to keep most everybody there.
Yeah, they've and that's what the thing is with so people often bring up NIL when it comes to Clemson. I don't think people realize that Clemson is 8th in the nation in how much they spend on NIL in 2025. So it's not like there's not money there and they're not spending it, but they use it differently than most every other school does. What they do is give guys NIL to retain them, to keep them from transferring, not to lure them in from other schools, like a lot of other teams do. So that's his philosophy. I don't see him changing that philosophy, which has cost him several transfers that they've tried to go after. I can remember one in particular last year with a Georgia Tech offensive lineman that he was going to go to Clemson, but Dabo was like, we don't talk NIL if you're coming in as a transfer, not till you get here and sign. Are we going to talk about that? Where other schools will.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, well, I've got to guarantee this X amount of money at Georgia Tech or whoever, and Clemson is not giving me any number at all. It doesn't want to talk about it until I come and sign there. So I'm going to Georgia Tech. So that is, he needs to change his stance on the way he uses NIL too, in my opinion. But I don't think he's going to.
What about any potential staff changes? And I'm asking for your opinion. And I know you hear what other Clemson fans are saying, but so the Garrett Riley thing, I thought that was the best coordinator hire when it was made that offseason. But I don't know if it's worked.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. I'm not going to lie. I'm with you. I thought it was one of the better hires too. And there was a lot of teams that wanted him, and he came to Clemson. So it's not like Clemson was the only team that wanted to get him from TCU. I tell you what, though, he's signed through 2026. So next year is his final year of his contract. I think at the very least, if they don't fire him at the end of this year, they won't give him an extension and let him next year be a play for pay or whatever, coach for pay situation. But I think he's probably on the hot seat. I'm sure there's probably a lot of pressure internally in the athletic department and boosters or whatever to get rid of him because the offense just looks terrible. K Klubnik's regressing. But there's a bunch of position coaches that probably shouldn't be position coaches. I mean, the amount of former players that have zero coaching experience that Dabo hires as position coaches is unbelievable. I mean, you've got C.J. Spiller as the running backs coach. You've got Taj Boyd as a quarterbacks coach. You've got what's his face? Ben Boulware is the linebackers coach. You've got Nick Eason as the defensive lines coach. Now, Nick Eason was the defensive lines coach at Auburn before he came to Clemson, so he did have some experience. But the whole nepotism thing is real there. He loves building his roster with former players and alumni.
Yeah.
And he got a false sense of security because he did that with Jeff Scott and Tony Elliott. Remember that when they were the co-offensive coordinators? Those are both former Clemson players.
Yeah, that's right.
And that worked out. I mean, they won a couple of national titles together. So he got a false sense of, well, I can just hire former Clemson players and see how it works. But that's really the only time it has worked. So you can't use that as a benchmark going forward.
Kirby is kind of a similar thing with Mike Bobo. Now, I don't have as big of a problem with Mike Bobo performance-wise as a lot of other Georgia fans do. The guy can do no good in their eyes, a lot of them. I think he's done some good things as the offensive coordinator. But the reason I go back to when the hire was made. I didn't want that to be the hire because it makes things more difficult if it goes sideways. They're best friends. They've been best friends since the mid-'90s. And, like, you keep them too long sometimes if that's the case. Yeah. It just makes it harder, I think, to get rid of them. And like in Kirby's case when he hired Bobo, and this was my biggest complaint was not that he hired Bobo as his offensive coordinator. My biggest complaint was Monken quit, and 30 seconds later, he walked to his office next door and asked Mike Bobo if he wanted to be offensive coordinator. And that was the extent of the coaching search. In other words, there was no coach. He didn't make a phone call to anybody else. He didn't interview anybody else. He didn't consider anybody else. He's just like, well, Monken left. We'll just give it to Bobo. Now, I think Bobo's a pretty good offensive coordinator. Is he Todd Monken? No. But so it's not my criticism with Kirby and the Bobo thing isn't necessarily the results or how Bobo has performed as an OC. It's that he never should have been the OC. Or you should have done a real search. You should have went out and interviewed Bobo and then interviewed 3 or 4 other guys. It reeks of like the sort of old school country club thing where it's just, my buddy's here, I'm just going to give my buddy the job, that kind of thing. So that's what I didn't like about it. But that ship has sailed. They're gonna sink or swim with Bobo. That's pretty obvious at this point for Georgia. But anyway, that's off the subject. But this Monday night game's turning into a pretty good one. The Ravens and the Lions. The Ravens have my favorite player to watch. That running back. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
Derrick Henry.
That guy, he's so much fun to watch. But it's 14-14. The Lions are giving them a game here.
Yeah.
Ravens are in the red zone.
I got over 54 on this one. This is 2 of the better offenses in the league.
Yeah. The Ravens almost threw an interception in the end zone there. That wouldn't have been good for your over, but the guy dropped it. 2nd and goal now for the Ravens. The SEC dropped their permanent, or not permanent, what are they calling it, annual opponents list today. Mm-hmm. And the Georgia-South Carolina game's on there.
I saw that.
That made me happy. Like, from a selfish point of view, that's the perfect third opponent for, like, if they would have called me and said, hey, Lou, of course we're going to give Georgia, Florida, and Auburn. Those are the 2 rivals, but you can pick the third team. I'd have picked South Carolina. That's my favorite game every year because of geography and a bunch of friends I know that are Carolina fans and stuff like that. So it worked out great for me. And actually, looking over the entire list, I don't have any massive problems with it.
Yeah, I looked at the list this morning. I thought they did a good job of maintaining the real rivalries between all the teams. I mean, the problem was with you have the new teams that come in, Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
They don't have any traditional rivals in the SEC, really.
Yeah.
So they got each other, but.
And I guess they're going to reassess it every 4 years. So they're not necessarily going to make wholesale changes to your permanent 3 opponents every 4 years, but they're going to look at it every 4 years. And if something needs to be changed, they'll change it. And then the main thing to me is there's not a whole lot of sense in getting bent out of shape about who the third team is, because you're still going to play everybody twice in a 4-year period, So like, I love the Tennessee Florida game, well, that's not on there anymore. So instead of seeing it every year, we see it twice every 4 years. And there's some other games that are like that too, that you're like, yeah, I like watching that game, but I'd much rather lose a couple of games like that and see everybody play everybody every 2 years or every 4 years, or however it ends up working out. Because like Georgia hasn't played at Texas A&M since they joined the league 12 years ago. LSU hasn't played at Georgia since 2013. Auburn hasn't played at Florida since 2014 or whatever it is. There's just all this. You're in the same league, but you're never playing these teams. So I'm willing to lose LSU and Alabama every year, and now I get to see it twice every 4 years. So I still get to see it every other year, just not every year. But now I get to see Georgia at Texas A&M, LSU at Georgia, and all these other matchups that we've never got to see before because the schedule was so spread out. So I think they did as good a job as they could have on it. And it's going to be interesting.
And if there's ever a conference expansion, then they'll have to change it.
Yeah.
But that's a big if.
Yeah.
Touchdown Ravens, by the way.
Oh, that's good for the Pay Pete movement.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, try to get the week off to a good start. I took the Ravens to cover the first half, and they didn't. So I'm 0-1 to start the week. I think it was Ravens -3. And it was 14-14, I think, at halftime, or 14-7, or so. Anyway, they didn't cover the 3. So I'm 0-1 to start the week, but that's all right. I'm on a 3-week winning streak. I know I'll get it turned around. Plus, we got baseball the next 3 days. Baseball's a wagon, ain't it?
Yeah. I need to get back on to baseball. I can't win in football.
Yeah, Yankees over, man. You get back on that Yankees over.
I need to get back on that Yankees train, yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Jolie says, new SEC schedule reminds me of the good old days of divisions, a little which is a good thing. Garrett Roberts, thank you for the super chat. Note to self, don't get too drunk on October 11th.
What's on October 11th?
Oh, the Patreon stream where I give the money away.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We appreciate you tuning in to the Lunch Money Show. Me and Pigskin Pete every Monday night at 9 p.m. Sorry about the sleeper app thing. I really wish they would list all the players on Monday instead of waiting until Tuesday. Last week they were out on Monday because we went through and they were all on there. So I don't know what the holdup is today. But anyway, I'll pull it back up tomorrow night on the Tuesday night show, and we'll take a look at some of the picks. So good luck to everybody on that. Pete, what you got going on the rest of the week?
ACC show tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Call-in show Wednesday night at 10 p.m. following the Rob and Kale show over on Jackpot's channel. And then I'll be streaming the primetime games this week on YouTube. Georgia, Alabama, and Penn State and Oregon.
Yeah,
that's it.
I should know my Saturday streaming schedule by the time the call-in show starts tomorrow night. My guess is that it'll be primetime on Patreon because that's both the massive games next week are primetime. Alabama, Georgia, and Penn State, Oregon are both in primetime. The poll is up on Patreon if y'all want to go over there and vote, but I'll just go ahead and tell you. Right now, it's 85% of the people are voting on primetime, so there's about a 99% chance that the Patreon stream this coming weekend will be the primetime slot. So there you go on that. Call-in show Tuesday night and Thursday night at 9 p.m. So tune in tomorrow night at 9 and Thursday night at 9. We'll talk some college football. I'd love to hear from you all about this past weekend's games and all the big matchups coming up in week 5. And Saturday morning at 9 a.m. the kickoff show. That's the live schedule for the rest of the week. Check out the Patreon page if you hadn't already. Now's a great time to join with that giveaway coming up on October 11th. It's $10 a month. We stream over there every single weekend. We give money away every single weekend. Usually it's like $50 or something, but $1,000 giveaway on October 11th. So if you ever thought about joining the Patreon, if for whatever reason you didn't, now would be a good time to do it. All right, appreciate you tuning in. Good luck on all your bets this week. Hopefully we all win some money, and I'll talk to you again soon. Have a good morning.